All right, so we are here for a Thulian astrological reading with our friend, the Naga Jedi Knight. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
It's a
How are you
privilege.
doing?
I'm well. I'm going through, I'm moving, so things are a little crazy, but I am well. I am grateful to be alive and enjoying my life. All right, so we're going to take a look at your very interesting astrology here. And so we've already done your chart, as we discovered before we started the recording. We discovered that we've already done your chart, so we already have all of the notes about you. But we are going to allow the light beings, I'm pausing because I can feel them, their strength is building. So before we start taking a look at things, I want to see if you have any questions about anything in your chart that we've already looked at. I don't know if you still have your notes in front of you or if you remember.
Yeah, that was from years ago.
It was.
But yeah, the main thing that I'm looking to understand is whatever insights I can gather on the life purpose and the track that my life is currently taking, which looks quite nebulous at the moment. But I've been doing a lot of work, both with the Maushan five elements, and that itself is very powerful. But on top of that, the new practice I created soon after the other reading, and that has taken it in another direction. So I can tangibly feel the top of my head as though there is a pillar of light or a pillar of lightning right there. Not right now. Well, there's a little bit right now, but as soon as I start my practice, that's what comes up. And even more so, once I finish the Maushan five elements and get on with the new practice I created to pull everything from the cosmos and transmit everything to planet Earth, it gets even more powerful when I do that. So, yeah, a lot of interesting things happening. And there are times when um, I have felt the presence of something either touching me at the back or patting me at the back. And there are times when I felt a cool breeze, occasionally a warm breeze. So it's pretty obvious that there is a presence there. There is a presence in the room. When I practice, it's a lot more obvious now. Um, Even though um, I desire to see a tangible manifestation, like a physical manifestation, but all in good time, I suppose. Um, so yeah, I'm just looking to understand um, what direction my high dimensional self wants me to take for highest happiness, and also things like aspects of my past life that were not covered in the previous reading, such as my cosmic origins, my cosmic families, uh, things like where I came from before the Earth experience, and also, yeah, where I'm heading now.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to go ahead and just get started with what I'm being given since we started this reading. So, it everything that has happened, if anybody hasn't seen it, go back and watch the channeled reading that we did for Jedi Master here. because there was a lot of talk about Nagas, and there was a lot of talk about um, dark beings. I don't mean dark in the sense of negative, but like just like Jedi Black Knight, like these very powerful beings in like black robes and that kind of vibe, which is why that name suits you so well. And so we already know, see 1 second here. Yeah. So we already know that you have Rahu in your first house, which is where your ascendant is. Let's see, Rahu. Rahu. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. So the planet Rahu in your first house is in the first pada of Swati. So
The first one.
the first pada
Mm.
is so it means that Rahu is living with the deities of that um, pada of that nakshatra. So here's it gets interesting. When we take a look at the planet that, sorry, it's hard to talk when I've got all this energy hitting me. Um, the planet that is ruling the nakshatra of Swati is Rahu.
Right,
So what that means is that Rahu is sitting in his own nakshatra that he himself is ruling. And more than that, the first pada of any nakshatra is the essence. It's like if something is on that first pada, it means it lives with the deity. So this means Rahu is directly connected to himself. This is one of the deepest, most powerful connections that Rahu can have. So what does this mean? Rahu is the planet that has everything to do with mystery, everything to do with power, spiritual power. All of the things that you mentioned that you do, the Maushan five elements, the meditations that you're doing, that you created to open up your crown chakra. This is Rahu. And when Rahu is in a bad, as you know, when Rahu doesn't work well, Rahu will make somebody obsessed, will make them insane, will make them a drug addict. They become very addicted. Rahu represents the attachment to this reality. That's when Rahu is not operating from his highest place. So you've got Rahu completely connected to himself in his own uh, in his own nakshatra of Swati. And so this means that this is shining directly on to your ascendant. Now, your ascendant sits in the third pada of Swati. So this means that you are here to express that energy in this world. Now, what was coming to me, I wanted people to have a little background before I started sharing what they were saying. What was coming to me is again healing. That you are a healer.
you did mention that in the previous reading.
Yep, that's right. So this and again, this is before I even started really looking at this. That was the first thing that was hitting me. Is that these Naga beings want you to know that you are a healer, that this is your main vibration. I think last time we talked that, um, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but last time we talked, I remember that you had been a healer in a past life.
Yes, that's true.
As I said that, huge energy just comes through me. So, aligning yourself with that. And so, as you know, each lifetime we may have a different focus for whatever it is that we want to learn. But if we're talking about who your soul is in between lifetimes, and I remember last time I said that your soul had decided in this life it was going to take a break from healing,
Yes, you
focus
did.
on other things. So the healing is coming back. And
Oh, so it's coming back now.
yeah, because we're headed into, as you know, we're heading into this shift. I mean, we're already into it, this shift. We're shifting into some new reality of Earth. Dare I call it, 5D, whatever words we want to use. And so the the karmic lesson that you needed to learn in this life before we went into the shift, that's over. This is true for every human. Whatever you came into this life being, that has now come and gone. The more that you hang on to it, the more frustrating it's going to be as we start shifting. We're moving into that place where we move to the highest vibration of who we are while we are multidimensional while still being human. This again is, we're moving into the same kind of scenario that they had during Satya Yuga, the Golden Age, where people were divine and human at the same time. So we have that opportunity right now. And as I'm talking about it, the shift in Earths, people who want to go to the highest frequency Earth, they have to let go of all of that. So that means who you think you are now, Naga Jedi, who you think you are now in this life is something that you can decide to delete. You can delete that program. And when you delete that program, the program behind it then comes to the forefront, which is who you are. So your essence is of a healer. That's what they're definitely saying. And you've probably experienced this, but what I'm seeing from them is you have only two choices. You can either be the Naga healer who reveals the truth from the darkness, or you can try and be a human, in which case Rahu will destroy you. Because then that Rahu, you won't be able to escape the power of Rahu. It is so powerfully connected to you, to your ascendant, which again,
Okay, just a bit of background here, if I may interject. So, a few years ago, I was having lots of health problems, like falling sick and staying sick for weeks together, and also um, not getting enough sleep and whatnot. So, I just came upon Wim Hof method, which you must have heard of. So, I started practicing it and started doing cold showers. And ever since then, my health has been totally different. My immunity has gone through the roof, and I almost never fall sick these days. And even if I do fall sick, it's probably for a day or two maximum, and then back to normal. And then a few years after that, I did my blood stats and turned out that my sugar levels were high. It's not diabetic, it was just below pre diabetes. So I started making some changes, such as intermittent fasting and keto friendly diets. And within 3 months, I reversed all the problems. So biohacking is not new to me. I can speak from experience. And I know I look a lot younger than my current age. People have said that.
Yeah. So as I'm listening to you talk, again, the light beings are chiming in, and so without commenting on the obvious, the specifics of what you were doing, which is obviously true, there's no denying that. What they're telling me is that these behaviors are aligning you to your true self, and the healing is coming from that as well. Because when you align to your true self, then, as you know, there's no block from the energy. The energy comes through your whole body, which, of course, everything works, all of the cells and blah, 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 you know, all those things work perfectly. But it means that you're now focusing your mind where it belongs. So these practices that you're doing are aligning you to this power. And again, this Naga power is extremely helpful for you. Okay, what they're trying to tell me something here. He's going to understand more about his true path when he realizes who he is. And I'm seeing like a tunnel, and it's like a dark tunnel that's going to the truth of who you are. We talked about who you were in a previous in a higher dimension. Yeah, so I'm really focused right now. I'm trying to look at other things in your chart, and I'm brought back to this Rahu in your chart.
And you can probably see Uranus there.
I do. Um, let's see, where is Uranus? Just out of curiosity. Uranus is also in Swati. So you've got two planets and your ascendant in Swati. So you need to be working with Rahu. You need to be chanting to Rahu and working directly with Rahu as your guru. I want you to understand what that means. I mean, you can probably guess what that means. As you know, most people who are familiar with Vedic astrology, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is they're going to say Rahu's an asura, Rahu's a demon, Rahu is negative, they'll say all these horrible things about Rahu. That is only true if somebody is attached. If they're attached to the third dimension in any way, Rahu will he'll corrupt it, he'll ruin it. He does two things. He's a great magician. What he will do is he will say to somebody, "Would you like to know the truth about yourself?" And he may do that through a circumstance, whatever. It could be a dream, could be their instinct. It doesn't matter how he does it. But the question will be, do you want to know the truth about yourself? And most people don't want to know the truth about themselves. Because if you know the truth about yourself, your third dimensional attachment will be obliterated. It'll be destroyed. This was old school, old school yogis. They didn't go to some yoga studio. They went to the Himalayas with a loincloth, and that was it. And if you got a blessing from one of these really old school yogis, like if you went to one of these old school yogis up on the mountaintop and you said, Guru, please give me a blessing, he would say, oh, okay. And he would bless you. And then you would go back down to your life and your life would fall apart. You'd lose your marriage, you'd lose your job, you'd lose all of your money, and then you would have only thing that would be available to you would be to go and live the life of an ascetic yogi. And if you go back to these people and you say, what did you do that for? You destroyed my life. The yogi will say, I thought you wanted to be blessed. You were wasting your time. Now you're one with reality. So Rahu is that magician who, when he asks, do you want to know the truth about yourself? Depending on how you respond, will tell you how he's going to interact with you. If your response, and by the way, people respond through their life. It's not what they say in their prayers. Oh, please, I want to be righteous. That's not the response. The response is the actions people take in their lives. And so when Rahu says, do you want to know the truth about yourself? And their actions say, I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to I want to have a good reputation. I want to have kids and I want to have all the things that, right? If that's your focus, Rahu says, okay, I'm going to give you all that stuff. And then all that stuff will destroy them. If
Okay, just to
Hang
interject
on,
for a
hang
moment.
on. We're
Okay,
only
please
halfway
go
through.
ahead.
Yeah, we're only halfway through. This is important because this is coming to you. Okay. So the second thing that Rahu will do, if when he says, do you want to know the truth about yourself? If your actions say, I want to know more about the spirit, I want to release money, fame, blah, blah, blah. If your actions go in that route, Rahu says, okay, now that you've shown me what you truly want, he takes the curtain, right? Because this is a play. This world is a performance. It's a play. He pulls back the curtain and he says, here's how everything works. So when Rahu says, I'm going to show you how everything works, that's different from, say, somebody who's worshiping Jupiter, right? Somebody who's worshiping Jupiter and they say, I want to know the truth. Jupiter says, I'm going to give you the power to bless the world. I'm going to give you the power to make people feel joyous and happy. The priest, right? So when Rahu picks you and he says, I want to show you the truth about yourself, it means he's going to show you how everything works. And that means that in your case, when it comes to healing, he's going to show you how to heal, right? Jupiter shows up and says, I bless you. And the blessing is so powerful, people are healed. Doesn't necessarily mean they understand why they were sick to begin with. Doesn't mean they understand the karma that brought them there or their thinking process. They now have devotion and that's enough. That's Jupiter's path. Rahu says,
Not me.
Rahu says, I want to understand the mechanics of this because a scientist, right? When a scientist understands how things works, he doesn't have to just operate on faith. So you've been given that choice, and you've obviously taken the choice of following your true self. Because if that didn't happen, you wouldn't have figured out how to heal yourself. Okay, I just felt that huge amount of energy. You figured out how to heal yourself. You didn't come to me or somebody else and have us go, oh, the reason why you're sick is you figured it out. So this is going to be something that you'll be able to do for others and help people uh, to disengage from their attachments. So this is what Rahu wants to show you. He wants to start teaching you. This is the Jedi in the hood that's walking around. He wants to teach you the mechanics of how energy works. And then you'll be able to heal people the way that a scientist fixes something that's broken. All right, so you wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah. So this has been my life experience. Now, funnily, my Rahu Dasha got over roughly a decade ago. So I'm in Jupiter Dasha now. But funnily enough, it's well after the Rahu Dasha that the real effects are starting to come up.
Yeah,
And the Rahu Dasha was always about seeing the truth for what it is. Um, Now, without getting into details, the experiences I had, the associations with different kinds of people that began in the Rahu Dasha, yes, they all led me to the truth outside the matrix. So, this has been the story of my life, and it has always been the case, and even more so now that fewer and fewer people are starting to, fewer and fewer people are getting to see what's really happening in the world, and more people are getting consumed by false narratives that are being pushed around a million times or a billion times. So, um, and as per the mythology, it was Rahu that could actually see what was happening, while the rest of the asuras were smitten by the belly dancer. But it was Rahu alone who could see, no, there's something else going on here. Oh, yeah, that is the nectar. Okay, my job is to get the nectar. I don't care what the belly dancer says. I don't care what the belly dancer does. I'm not smitten by this. So he goes, yeah, um, tries to grab the nectar. Of course, a few other things happen, but this has pretty much been the story of my life ever since Rahu Dasha began. Prior to Rahu Dasha, yeah, I was part of the matrix, the religious upbringing in a Vaishnava family, and which you probably know, very similar to Abrahamic, um, Abrahamic thought process. But yeah, I just wanted to add that here.
yeah. So I understand that you. Just give me 1 second here. I'm writing down a powerful mantra for you, which will connect you directly to Rahu. Okay, so I don't know if the spelling's 100%. Let me see if I got all the words in there. Ardakayam Mahaviryam Chandraditya Vimardhanam Simhika
Okay, I know what it is. Yeah. Ardhakayam Mahaviryam Chandraditya Vimartanam Simhika Garbha Sambhutam Tam Rahum Pranamamyaham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is.
So this is something that you can chant on a regular basis. Turn it into a song. There's different. Some of them have a tune to them. Ardakayam Mahaviryam Chandraditya Vimardhanam Simhika Garbhasambutam Tamrahum Pranamamya. Find a tune
Yeah, I know where it comes from.
and sing that. Okay, so that will be I'm glad you know that right up. That's interesting that you know that right off the bat. Uh,
So could it be done facing southwest or what?
for you, if you want to get specific that way, like do it how it is in the chart, you can face, yeah, southwest. And But well, let's see. How would you guys like to have him do it? Okay, so you can also try facing north and chant it facing north.
Okay. Yeah, I do my practices facing north. Yeah. I usually
I don't know
stand
why that
and
is
do the
so.
practices.
That's yeah. I just got to try
Okay,
it on
north
the
is fine.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, chant that facing north. But I also recommend memorize it and just chant it. Like you're singing a song under your breath as you go. And the focus of that is to align with your guru. Align with your guru. The
And when
Rahu,
you say guru, you mean Rahu.
yeah.
Okay.
So few people have Rahu as guru. So few. It's because they wouldn't be able to handle it. Because Rahu is humans' best friend. Jupiter wants to give you all kinds of good things to make you feel better. Don't get me wrong, I love Jupiter. Um, Venus wants to give you money and make you feel good and hang out and party with you. And Rahu says, I want you to find your liberation through those things that were going to be the most harmful to you, you know? And by either doing those things, you destroy yourself. But when you're done with that, the lesson of Rahu is, oh, you want to be obsessed with money? All right, I will give you all the money you want. And you've seen what happens to rich people. At the end of their lives, they're miserable. They have nothing. So when they leave that life, they go, okay, I don't want money. Rahu taught them. If if Rahu comes to you and you say, I want to know the truth about something, then he says, like I said, I'm going to show you what's behind the curtain. But nobody has that power. The people who walk around on this earth do not have that power. Imagine having the power to be able to function without having to get attached to anything. When you live like that, Rahu will take you directly to Shiva. Because what is Shiva's wearing? Who's he wearing around his wrists and around his
Yeah,
neck?
the serpent, Vasuki.
Yeah, he's wearing the Nagas. He's wearing the serpent power. So the serpent power is, when you get to be Shiva, there's no way that you can be tempted by anything. Nothing. Nothing can tempt you and attach you. So this is the true lesson of Rahu for those that have the ability. Now, you've been born for this. And we don't need to get into it, but I already know that if you go down the other direction, everything falls apart, including your physical body, right? Everything starts coming apart. When you focus on your truth of who you are, as you have been, completely focusing on your spiritual practice, you now become this what's the word I want to look for? I mean, Jedi is a good word, but the magician who knows why all the tricks work. Okay, so let's see what else. Go ahead. If you have any other questions, go ahead. I'm going to let them guide me as I look at your chart a little bit. But you have any other
Okay.
thoughts and questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, so one of the things, and I know what you advised me to do is to codify my practice and create an actual package out of it. Now, I've been thinking over that and pondering over these ideas on how best to do this. And yeah, I'm also finding that each time I think, okay, this is the way to go, then the following night when I do the practice, something else happens that takes me to a different level. So it's like, okay, interesting. Like a couple of nights back, what I did was um, I just completed the Mao Shan 5 elements. Um, then I just did the whole breath using my methodology. Then I did a short C5, which is to send the energy body up from the crown of the head straight to a point directly above, um, probably like uh, far enough to be outside the Earth's gravitational field. So send the energy body there and then send out a bat signal to all the light beings nearby and invite them to follow me back to where I am. So when I do that, I chant the whole breath just to go down, just to descend. I chant the whole breath to descend and invite them to follow me. So a couple of nights back, I just had a thought in my mind saying that um, just imagine that there is a ball of light that's like an um, not a conglomeration, more like a, okay, I don't want to use the term goulash, but it's like the essence of all the light beings who followed me to my physical location. It's all mixed together and turned into a ball of light uh, all around. Then here's what I did. Yeah, I pulled the cosmic energy from below. And as I did, there was a thought that came into my mind, which is to visualize that the light beings are also sending their essence and their energy through my heart center and mixing it with whatever is already there, and then setting it up to the master self, which is as per the previous reading. So, setting it up to the master self and blasting it like a pulse all over the earth. Now, yeah, part of me was thinking, am I just imagining things or making things up? But the energy that I felt when I was thinking about the ball of light, it was pretty intense. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not an imagination. Maybe it's an actual download.
So you're wanting to double check on that.
Well, I just thought I could ask them if it was actually them who were telling me this or something I was making up.
Yeah, well, so to get to the heart of that question, you don't realize you just said a couple of really very interesting things we can talk about, but let me just address the heart of your question in terms of are you making it up? Meaning, is it just your own unconscious fantasy and it's not anything objectively
Yeah,
real?
unconscious fantasy.
It is absolutely real. Now, what you're experiencing is going to be the most empowering lesson that all humans can experience as they shift. And this is part of what will decide whether or not somebody shifts. If somebody is able to accept what you're experiencing about themselves, they will shift up. If somebody is not willing to expand into that, which means dying to this world, then they won't. They will choose to stay in a lower frequency because it's more comfortable. So, what's really happening when I mean, I'm listening to what you said, and it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't teach you this. This isn't something I told you to do. This is something that you were doing coming from your own intuition. But here's the end result of that. If that is true, which I believe it is, the way you described it, When you create a ball filled with all of the energy of the light beings who are bringing their consciousness into that, and then you explode it all over the earth. What that
Okay,
means,
not exactly that. Not exactly that. More like, um, okay, the practice is more like pulling the energy from the cosmos, but through various points and then through the center of the earth, and then bringing it up from the center of the earth. And as I do, the ball of light adds its own energy to it through the heart center and mixes it up with whatever's already there
very good. Thank you for
by
correcting me.
making sense. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a better understanding of that now. What I wanted to focus on was do you realize that if you are taking the light being's energy into your heart and then up and out, you are the conduit through which their energy is moving. That means, drum roll, that means that in that moment, at the very least, you are acting like a deity. They are worshiping you. This is a huge concept. This is very hard for the human ego to handle. The idea that a human being, when they are operating from their higher dimensional self, the level of power that they have is so vast and so highly charged that light beings, beings that we would consider to be angels or guides, they're worshiping you. So that's no
Yeah, it
different
certainly
than,
is hard to digest.
so when people sit in front of an altar and there's a deity statue and people are worshiping, that's what's happening. They're putting their energy into the deity, into that. And then that being then takes that energy, takes their devotion, and then surrounds them and surrounds the world with it. There's no
Yeah, see,
difference.
what I do is that I send everything up to a point somewhat above where the master self is, and
That's
then ask
you.
the
The
master
master self
self,
is you.
yeah,
Yeah.
send ask the master self to blast it everywhere.
That's still you.
Yeah, yeah,
It's still you. You, the person I'm looking at, Naga Jedi Knight, this person that I'm looking at, this is only an icon on a desktop of a program that we call Earth. That higher being, the master self, is you, is your true self. And the difference between what's happening in that moment and what's happening to somebody who's just going through life and banging their head against a wall and doesn't know who they are and their life is miserable is that they think they are that icon on a desktop. They think that's all there is to them. You
no,
are
I don't.
awakening. You are awakening to your multidimensional self. And we spent a lot of
Uh,
time in the last reading talking about that I can't even describe the power of that cosmic being, but that's who you truly are.
yeah, that's what you mentioned, and as per my understanding, it is that powerful, omnipresent cosmic being that has taken a Naga form first, and that is why you had a Naga family show up, and then the Naga form has taken my form.
Yeah, right. And here's the part that really will blow people's minds. Maybe you've experienced this, but more that you meditate on it, it will even blow your mind even more. The higher dimensional self, the master being, needs to channel that energy through the little icon on the desktop that is the human being Naga Jedi Knight. It can't come into this reality without you. You are so important to this reality that one of the largest, most important deities in the universe, in the multiverse, has chosen to incarnate as you for the expressed purpose of being able to take all of these energies and then release it in the way that you are. Again, I'm being vague because I know I don't want to inaccurately describe it. But that's how the specifics are isn't as important to me and to the deities themselves. You hear I just said, I just used the word deities. There are deities out there that want to help consciousness in our reality and other realities. And
So that's what's happening here.
what they need is they need you to be the conduit so they can send their energy through you. And then what happens as a human beings who do the work that we're doing, the interdimensional meditations, all the practices that you're doing, the Maoshan practices.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have enough time for the interdimensional meditations because they're quite long. That's why I just added the CE5 as part of my own practice. Um, but um, but talking about this, I just want to add one more thing. So last night when I was doing the practice, yeah, I did the same thing, sent my energy body up. And this time while coming back, I just had a thought cross my mind that there is a being from a very high dimension that is connected. Now, either I'm just being narcissistic with spiritual ego, or maybe something is happening. So I just thought, okay, accept it for what it is. Okay, please follow me back. So I just came down, and then, of course, a ball of light formed around my light body, and then draw the essence and the consciousness from there, send it up to the master self, and then blast it everywhere else. But yeah, a part of me wonders, was it something my mental chatter was making up, or did it actually happen?
Well, you said that you felt a lot of energy when you do these things,
But I always do.
when you do these practices.
Yeah, I always feel lots of
That
energy.
you can't make that up. So again, this is very typical. I experience it and my experiences of others who are actually doing it. The way you know that it's really happening is that that question will go off in your mind. Am I just imagining this? But what's interesting is when people are just imagining something, it's not associated with this huge interdimensional energy that moves through you. That doesn't happen when you're just having an imagination about it. The
Okay,
other
that
thing is
clarifies.
the other thing is if somebody is getting lost in their own fantasy, they become attached to it. They become protective of it and defensive. Talk to people who are psychotic. If you try and talk them out of their delusion, they get very defensive. They get very angry. They don't ever ask the question, I wonder if I'm making this up. They never ask that. The reason why, and again, you're having an experience that you can feel. It's not like you're just thinking about something you think is cool. You're engaged in a meditative action. And in that, you're feeling huge amounts of energy coming out of different places in your body. And
Mostly the crown.
and
Crown
then
is like the,
yeah,
it's like that.
and then while all that is going on, then your brain goes, I wonder if I'm making this up. That is the third dimension part of you. So, people think that normal people, and especially in Western society, when you talk about the mind, they immediately think the brain.
No, it's more than the brain.
And the brain doesn't understand higher dimensional energy. So when energy is moving through it, it goes, what is that? I don't know what that is. And that's that part of you that says, I wonder if I'm making that up. Your entire nervous system and your energy body is going, but your brain goes, I wonder if I'm making that up. I think I'm making that up. Again, psychotic people don't do that because
Yep. That clarifies now.
their psychosis is about their attachment. They're trying to protect their third dimensional attachment. And so when they think that they're a god or whatever, it's always in comparison to others, how superior they are to other people. Other people are little, but I'm a god. And that's not what you're talking about. What you're talking about is you are tapping into this higher dimensional deity aspect of yourself. And at the same time, you're becoming one with all of the other deities who are channeling their energy through you. And again, to help us understand, we start from the assumption that in order to even be given the ability to incarnate on earth as a human being, the first requirement is that you are a multidimensional deity. If you're not a multidimensional deity and you want to incarnate on earth, you won't be given the opportunity, but besides that, you won't make it. They won't go the process of being squished down into this very dense world. And we see this a lot. We see this with stillborns. We see this with babies that are born and then die a few days later. That's a soul who is said, I can't do this. I'm not doing this. I'm out. And they leave. They're in the womb and they go, that's it. I'm not doing this. It's too much. I can't do it.
Got it.
So
Um,
the illusion is we get here and we're all so screwed up. All of us human beings are so screwed up and we're so limited. And life is so painful and so challenging and so confusing. So imagine the power that must be necessary to stay in the body and then to spiritually grow. So I've known you for a little while, the path that you have taken and
it's been 7 years now.
the progress that you've made spiritually and energetically since I've known you, just since we've talked today, you've revealed that you figured out how to heal yourself. That is the deity within you that is waking up. So, yeah, this is a very important question that you're asking, all these questions. And it is normal. Any human being who starts doing these interdimensional practices, you're creating your own CE5 interdimensional meditation. Very, very advanced, very powerful. And the thing about it that also tells me that it's real is that you are allowing the energy to teach you what to do. And what you described in the last experience that you just had, I've had as well. And what happens when a human being starts to expand into these higher dimensions and starts creating their own powerful interdimensional practices where they're shifting reality, whether it's, bringing higher dimension energy to Earth, or it doesn't matter what. When you do that, I've experienced this many times. You've experienced it. What happens is that beings in very high dimensional places who aren't even thinking about Earth, they they feel your energy. And they go, something is happening down there. And they will come down and they will approach you. And they will approach you like an equal because they will realize one of us is waking up in the earth realm. I just
So
got,
that's probably what happened last night.
yeah, your meditations are so powerful that it's getting the attention of the very high dimensional deities that are up there. It's so powerful, they have to go and see what is going on. Who is that? What are they doing? And here's something that you may find out. They're learning from you. Many times they will come and they will say, I watched what you were doing and I learned how to do this or that. They're watching you and learning from you. So, people just can't uh, decide, truly narcissistically. They can't just decide I'm a god. You've got to awaken to it and earn it, and that's what you're doing. So it's not a false awakening, which is what narcissism
Mhm.
is. It's a false awakening. It's not real. A true
Yeah, that
awakening.
explains so many things.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, and the other thing I would like to know, if the light beings want to tell me this, is uh, prior to Earth and prior to this experiment, where do I actually come from? Any particular star system or any particular galaxy?
Okay, that's a good question. All right, let's see what they say. What would you guys like to say? Okay. What I just heard was if he finds out which star system he's from, he won't be able to stay on Earth any longer.
Mhm.
So if you found out, it would awaken your connection to that place so strongly you wouldn't want to stay. So I'm assuming that you have work to do. All right, let's see. What else? What else would you like to say about that? They say when he comes home, we'll tell him why we hid that from him.
Damn it.
So this is
I've had this
again,
question for so many years.
okay. So here again, we're dealing with Rahu. Rahu is this kind of a trickster. So this is your obsession. So the or one of your obsessions anyway. The solution to that is to let it go. Say, okay.
Oh, for
Because
fuck's
if
sake.
you if you go after it, if you go after your obsession, Rahu will make you miserable. Remember, he's either making you miserable or he's showing you what's going on behind the scenes. So this is a tough lesson, my friend, and I'm not exactly in your shoes, but I understand a lot of what you're saying because I've got work to do here. And I want to go home. I'm done. I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. But I have work to do. So
So the
until
beings that came before you, are they reptile beings?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. You cut out there.
Oh, sorry, I was saying the beings that came before you right now, are they Nagas or reptoids?
Let's see. Yeah, so what I'm seeing is again, I'm seeing a hooded figure, dark, you can't see inside the hood. Their energy is very subtle, but very powerful. So very, very dark. And
So
yeah,
you mentioned
if
that a
I
few
wait,
times
hang
about
on, hang
me.
on, hang on. If I look just inside, yeah, I'm seeing a reptoid being. So these
In
are,
a time being.
yeah. So, but and that makes, again, this is the theme. The theme tonight is Rahu. This is where your reading wants to stay on that. So again, what are the things about Rahu that are challenging? Rahu is our obsessions. Rahu are the things that we think we want. Even if we get them, we will never be satisfied. It's just a black hole that gets worse and worse and worse. So the way to deal with that aspect of Rahu is to detach. So that thing, if there's something in you, I need to know this, I really want to know this, for you, you got to let that go. And when you
For
let it
fuck's sake.
go, the energy of the full sun is a good indicator, because to get that energy, you have to let go. But when you let go, that energy will show up very strongly. But if you try and grab onto it, you'll lose it.
Okay, that explains why it's been happening this way for so many years.
So what they
And
what sorry?
yeah, you did mention quite a few times that I'm this dark being. Now, obviously, dark doesn't mean evil. It
No,
probably means that strong masculine energy. As per the deity you mentioned, um, Tarhunt, right?
Tarhunt, yeah. Tarhunt is definitely, yeah, comes up.
Dark being.
Yeah, and that's power. Power. Pure power. Power is in the emptiness. That's where power lies. This is your path. And think about what you're doing, in the meditations. This is power. There's the power. If you can see it, it's not the most powerful. If you can't see it, if you can't touch it, that's where the power is. And that is your original essence. So, when it comes to where these beings, to me, I feel want you to know, they want you to know your pre-planetary essence before you not only came to Earth, but any other planet. This is where you're going to find your true power, your true comfortability. And
So, is that the cosmic being?
yeah, that being of mystery, incredibly mysterious to the rest of us.
Okay, this is rather interesting because a few days back, I just created something. Um, and people say that to commune with Rahu, use a foreign language. And I can speak Spanish pretty well. Not an expert, but I can speak Spanish reasonably well. So I just, um, you know, uh, years back, someone I knew shared something with me in Spanish. Obviously, uh, it had some religious overtones, but I just took that and made up something else in Spanish, but addressed to the master self. So it seems to resonate with what you said.
Yeah, Rahu is foreign, different, other. And so for you, when you do things that take you out of the feeling of being in control, When you get out of that and you're not in control and you don't understand it, and it's then you will be in a state of power.
Okay, that has been my experience
Yeah,
in a lot of these, yeah, life events.
yeah,
Yeah, when I just let go and yeah, let the force flow, as
yeah,
Obi-Wan
yeah,
says,
yeah,
use the force. Look,
yeah,
yeah, when I do that, that is when real things happen.
yeah. My attention is being drawn to your 10th house, which is Cancer. You've got Saturn retrograde in
In
Cancer,
Ashlesha,
in Aslesha. Yeah. So your work is about working through past karma. You're healing. When you do anything that heals others, even if it's just in meditation, you are working through old past life karma, and you will get the blessings of Saturn, blessings
got
of
it.
Mahakal, Kali. You're going to get that blessing. What else? What are you saying? So there's a big breakthrough coming for your intuition. This is what Saturn in, that's what I'm seeing as I'm looking at it. They're saying that Saturn is, when you work through that whole past life karma, then the moon through Cancer, which is intuition, is going to become empowered.
And there is an exchange of Saturn and Moon, which you
Yep,
probably see.
I see that. Yeah. So you will become more comfortable in yourself as you understand, because then that will strengthen your moon in your fourth house and Venus in your fourth house, which will make you more comfortable within yourself. So you're heading into a
So,
time of spiritual service. So I'm giving you this so that you can meditate towards that. I'm sure the more you have connected to that master being in that higher dimension, you found that your life starts, things start coming together in your personal life. And so that's representative of if you take that path of Saturn service, then what ends up happening is you're going to get that blessing. So it's completely the opposite, for you to achieve your success, which I'm feeling for you, success means beyond this third dimensional world. You're going to wake up to your success as you keep shifting up to higher frequencies. And the message for you, which is the message for everybody, but especially for you, and I think I've shared this with you before, but yeah, and they're all there. I can see them all. They're very happy with this idea that your true expression of your highest success will be when you are with us in the work. So when you're doing the work to heal others. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means working with people, but it may be also, may even be exclusively that when you go to these higher dimensional planes, your you are operating from that master self. You're supposed to talk to him. So in meditation, see if you can have him communicate to you, have him teach you, have him guide you, have him advise you. He has he has more tricks to teach you, he says. So the meditations that you've created, incredibly powerful meditations that you've done on your own. Those meditations, he was guiding you into mastering that.
I see. Okay, that confirms. Yeah, I was not just making it up.
No, it's not possible to make that up. I want you to
It's
understand that.
bloody powerful.
Yeah.
It's bloody powerful,
Yeah.
especially at the top of the head.
Nobody can make that up. When people make stuff up, it has a completely different focus and a completely different vibe. I can tell the difference. I can tell when somebody's making something up or when it's coming from higher dimensions. Um, and you can too, I'm sure. But what you're doing is it's some of the most powerful uh, interdimensional work that I've heard of. It's on that level of the highest kind of interdimensional work that can be done. So we are all, uh, no pressure, but we are all dependent on you to do your work. We won't awaken if you don't do your work.
Yeah, I do this night after night.
Yeah,
And each time I do this, yeah, it just opens up right away.
yeah,
Right now, it's the 3D self living my normal life. Yeah, I can sort of feel the energy, but not as much as when I start the practice. That is when it just suddenly expands.
yep, yeah. Welcome to being a multidimensional being. This is what it's like. And there are two realities right now until things, wherever they're going. Right now, this is my experience. A lot of it, you're living two lives. There's the life that happens that can't even be explained. And then you got your mundane 3D life. And you sort of think
And
about,
the other day, my 11-year-old son was asking me, um, now this is one of the things I'm always thankful for. Um, but yeah, the other day, my 11-year-old son was asking me how he can commune with his higher self. And I just said, just reach out and ask him.
have you thought about guiding him in a meditation?
Okay, he's somewhat like me, strong mental chatter, not someone who can sit and meditate. And yeah, he's got other ambitions to focus on now. And I'm perfectly fine with that. That's part of living here. And I also got desires I want to fulfill. Um, yeah, like he wants to excel in sports. So I'm just working with him on that. But yeah, still I teach him things like having positive beliefs and taking action on positive beliefs.
Well,
So,
I'm just saying that because he came to you and asked you, how can he tap into his higher self? So you got nothing to lose by saying, if you want, I can guide you in a meditation. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it.
okay,
But he
yeah,
came to
I'll
you
think
and
through.
asked. It's important. He
Yes, he did.
asked.
I don't know the exact words, but he did ask me something like that.
Yeah. So he doesn't have to do it, but you can float it out there and say, hey, you remember when you asked me how do I reach my higher self? Well, If you want to, I'm here and I'd be happy to guide you in a meditation if you want. No pressure. But this will be empowering for you.
Yeah, his presence always is. And he's one of the kids who's quite a strong critical thinker as well. Um, and he's like the anchor point for many other kids in his school who are lost in the indoctrination. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how it has turned out, my current incarnation. But like I said, I'm always grateful, always thankful for my son. And he's not indoctrinated into religious fanaticism, whether it's the Abrahamic type or even some of the Hindu types. He's not indoctrinated into any of this. He's much, much, much more red pilled than most kids. And yeah, he's got a close friend who's somewhat like that. So yeah, I make it a point um, to tell him that these two should hang together as much as possible. But um, yeah, a few interesting things I wanted to share.
Very powerful. Well, listen, Jedi Knight, my respect for your power continues to grow. I find it very interesting how closely connected you are to Rahu and the power that you can achieve is limitless. It's limited only by your ability to accept how powerful you can be. So um, I want to see if there's anything last minute things that the light beings would like to say to you. So there's this phrase that keeps popping up about coming home. And they say when he comes home, he'll know more about what to do. So the way I interpret that is there are that hooded being is calling you to go to continue to go more deeply into that place of power, that place of mystery.
At the root of the spine,
What's that?
at the root of the spine.
Well, whatever,
That's what they
I'm
mentioned
not,
last time.
yeah, I'm not being given any specific physical point. It's more like, and that's fine. If that's the portal that you use, by all means. But
That's what they said last time.
yeah, the intention is that they are calling you to come home to yourself. You are doing it, to keep coming home to them, to go as deep as you can in them, and to continue to let go of the person that you think you are. Because as I sit here and I look at you, I'm seeing two beings. I'm seeing the third dimensional person that I've come to know and all of the specifics, and I can see that as your third dimensional character, third dimensional costume. And then behind that is is a being of immense power from that place of mystery, that place of darkness. And I don't mean darkness in negativity, but that darkness of behind the scenes, the power behind the scenes. So that is continuing to call you. And I just want to encourage you to keep listening to it and keep going towards there. Keep, as you have been, dying to yourself, dying to your attachments, dying to your limitations, self-imposed limitations. I can't do this. I'm not that. I'm not, all I'm not good enough. I'm not, all those things. To continue to let go of all of that and go through the ego death of expanding into something far beyond what you can understand. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, um, but that is continuing to call you. It's beckoning you. And the more that like, you can even imagine like a portal, and it's like a dark, swirling portal. Just imagine yourself going into it and seeing what's on the other side. But that's just the beginning. When that powerful being came to you, that's just the beginning. More of those beings will come. Keep doing what you're doing and lose yourself in your own meditations, in your own experiments in these higher dimensions. Trust the energy that you feel. You can feel it, even when your
Yeah,
brain says,
it's like
I think I'm making it up.
it's like a lightning rod.
Yeah,
It's like a lightning beam.
trust it. Trust that. That is real. That is more real than any physical thing around you. That is more real than anything else. So trust that and allow yourself to continue to expand into it. Okay. So I think that's a good place for us to bring this to an end for today.
Yeah, there's so much to process here, but I'm recorded it, so I'll replay it.
Yeah, good. And of course, I'm going to share this with people, and I think they'll enjoy that as well. All right. So and I can't tell you how much respect I have for somebody who can live in the power of Rahu the way you do. I have such respect for that and such admiration and maybe a little bit of envy. I really admire that you have that. And I'm so grateful that there are beings like you in this world working with us and helping us. And I'm so grateful to have been allowed to be a part of that. So with that,
And
my
I'm
friend,
grateful for this opportunity, not just the opportunity to learn about Mao Shan and practice it, but also the opportunity to create these new practices for the betterment of the world and for the ascension of humanity.
we are all grateful to you, my friend. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. I'm on a personal note, I am so proud of you, man. You've been kicking ass lately, and I just want you to know that and I see that, and I'm really grateful for you.
And so are you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, my powerful brother. I will see you very soon. I love you. Please take very good care of yourself.
You too.